Humankind has been endeavoring to lift the veil between this world and the next, believing the veil now is impenetrable. However, today, as we learn more than humanity has ever known about who we are in eternity and the nature of the life after this life, our vision is clearing, and we see for the first time there is no veil. There never was a veil. Humankind created the mythology of a veil separating two worlds. There is only one world, and we have always been integral with both what we thought was a separate afterlife and this world. Monsignor Robert Hugh Benson, speaking in spirit through Anthony Borgia, said, "Neither was it intended that the two worlds, ours and yours, should be as they are now, so far apart in thought and contact. The day will assuredly come when our two worlds will be closely interrelated, when communication between the two will be a commonplace of life, and then the great wealth of resources of the spirit world will be open to the earth world to draw upon for the benefit of the whole human race." Today we see the mythology of the veil dissolve as we learn the truth about reality and humankind's place in it. The day has come when communication between the two worlds is becoming a commonplace of life. Where did the mythology of a veil separating two worlds come from? The answer is in the way our time in Earth School is structured. We enroll in Earth School to love, learn lessons, and enjoy the experience. Our souls plan our time in Earth School before we enter, in concert with our guides and the others in our circle of contacts, who will be enrolling at the same time to participate in Earth School experiences with us. And so we begin Earth School as tabula rasas, blank slates. We learn how to function in Earth School during experiences in our childhoods. Everything we are is created after birth. Skills, attitudes, memories, predisposition to compassion or cruelty, personalities, and all the rest of what we associate with me. We acquire the learning from our families, organizations such as religions and schools, and society in general, primarily between birth and age 7. The Spanish priest Ignatius of Loyola said, "Give me a child the first 7 years, and I'll give you the man." We are not forgetting who we were before birth and what our nature is as spiritual beings. We never knew it. Our souls know who we are in eternity and the pre-birth plan, but the me that is in Earth School knows only what we've learned in our childhood, and that learning in today's society is spiritually primitive and ignorant. We chose to enter Earth School at a spiritually backward time. Society, our families of origin, and the religious and educational institutions teach children naive myths about the nature of the world, who we are in eternity, and why we live on Earth. The myths are primitive, ignorant, and destructive. Children are taught our loved ones who have passed away are buried in the ground or stone cold dead in a mausoleum. To memorialize them, we must go to the cemetery and stare at the ground, but we can't talk to them. They're dead and buried in the ground. In this mythology, people don't know what happens after the body stops functioning. It's a great mystery no one has the answer for, they believe. Religions have only the most primitive, vague references to an afterlife that offer no insights into the realm we enter after the body stops functioning. Society teaches children they must strive to make their own way in life, using solely the training and skills they receive in school and work activities. We're on our own. There are no insights from any other source coming into our minds. The idea of guides, angels, and helpers giving us insights is woo-woo nonsense, society teaches. And so people do not communicate easily with loved ones who have graduated, if at all, and don't know the reality that they are always available to communicate. The result is the feeling that there is a veil between our world and theirs. Children are taught they cannot know what happens beyond the veil because it is unknowable. We won't know till we get there, the child's parents say. At the funeral, children are taught by word and example that the person they knew and loved is stone cold dead and inaccessible. That is a terrible mythology that resulted in the myth of the impenetrable veil. The truth people are not taught today is that what we call the afterlife is just a stage of life. There is only life, no this life and the afterlife. And when the fiction of a veil is exposed, as people discover who we are in eternity, all people will have free, open discourse with loved ones, continuing their lives in another realm that is one with the earth world. They are with us, and only a thought away, not beyond an impenetrable veil. We are one mind. We can experience a thought or a sense or a feeling people living in the next stage of life are thinking, sensing, and feeling. And they experience the thoughts, senses, and feelings we are experiencing, because we are one mind having the experiences. People who have left behind the limitations of Earth School readily perceive all thoughts, senses, and feelings that come to any mind, including ours. They know what we are thinking and feeling, as they know the thoughts and feelings of others living in the next stage of life. That openness of mind is a characteristic of the next stage of life. We do experience the thoughts, senses, and feelings coming from the people living in the next stage of life, but we must focus on them as coming from one person, and we must learn to listen to the subtle messages. When the belief we cannot communicate with our loved ones who have graduated from Earth School is dispelled, we will have casual conversations with people in the next stage of life, just as we have everyday conversations with each other now. In our lives now, if we want to speak to someone, we speak our words with confidence that they will receive the message and respond, although we may have to listen intently to hear the response. We don't doubt that we'll be heard, and we don't doubt that we will receive a response. So it will be with our communication with loved ones in the next stage of their lives. When we learn from childhood how to communicate, we will understand the limitations that we must go through Earth School unimpeded, learning to overcome obstacles on our own. We can't expect direction at every moment or continual visions of our future to dispel our concerns. We are the creators of our destiny as we love, learn lessons, and enjoy Earth School. We can receive guidance and help from those living in the next stages of their lives, but we are not dependent on them. We have confidence in ourselves to move forward because we realize we are spiritual beings given all the resources we need to succeed in Earth School. There is no veil. There never was a veil. We can communicate at will and learn anything we want to know about the next stage of life. The essential message is that we see the stages of our life clearly now, and we see no veil. We have assumed there is a veil because we have not been taught how to communicate with our loved ones. But they are not on the other side of a veil. They are beside us. Communicate with them regularly. They're waiting to hear from you.